Unsyndicated presents Shep and Sean, featuring Matt Shepard and Sean Baligian.
So what is up? It's just Sean. Shep had a commitment that he had to attend to. He's going to try to join us for what it's worth. He's going to try to join us at some time before the show ends. But you know what? Let's just roll. How you guys feeling? Everybody okay? Everybody okay today? No, you're not. All right, let's do it. Overreaction Monday. Overreaction Monday. How you feel about Overreaction Monday? How you feeling about that game yesterday? What can I possibly say about that game that could make you feel any better about that game? There were so many little plot twists in that game and so many, quite frankly, villains in that game. It is, I know it's easy to strictly blame Jared Goff. It wasn't exactly a good game by Jared Goff in any way, shape, or form. It wasn't a good game from Dan Campbell. It wasn't a good game from Ben Johnson. What happened in the 2-minute warning of both halves is absolutely inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. And you know what? To Dan Campbell's credit, he owned it. To Jared Goff's credit, he owned it. Okay? The first half, I think it speaks for itself. Taking points off the board, the clock running down, etc. What they were trying to accomplish really on both those drives with 2 minutes to go in the game, I'll never know. I thought the play calling was an absolute mystery. And I found myself using the same line that I do to my kids. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish here? What are you hoping to accomplish? I mean, that was the play calling to me. And I think that's what's frustrating about what happened. But let me please, pretty please, keep this in perspective. And I'm going to ask you to keep this in perspective. And I know that perspective isn't cool because we're supposed to rant and rave. And I remember many of you listened to me rant and rave many, many years ago. Okay. This is a different team with a different credit line, with a different roster, with different ownership. And I'm just not going to do it. Who knows? There might be time to do it. Who knows? You know, maybe hell by the bye week. By the bye week. They lose their next two. They're 1-3 going into the bye. Do we ring the alarm then? Do we ring the alarm in November? At what point in time do we ring the alarm? Now, I'm just going to speak for me, okay? And I'd love to hear what you guys are saying, okay? Get it off your chest. If it makes you feel better, do what you have to do, all right? I don't care if they go 10-7. I don't care. I've said this 100 times. I don't care if they go 10-7 and somebody else wins the division. I don't. Do I think that's going to happen? Nope. But I don't care if that happens. Do you know what I care about? I care about being that team at playoff time. That's the only thing I care about. I care about having a New York Giant metamorphosis. I care about the year the Packers last won the Super Bowl, where they kind of backed in. I care about that. That's what I care about. I care about what the Lions do when it counts. And I hope we don't get to the point in time where we're talking about it, where all of a sudden we're sitting back going, oh my gosh, it's 1992 all over again. I am not going to lose my mind over a loss against a pretty good team. My biggest fear yesterday, and I said this on the Woodward pregame show. I was doing the Woodward pregame show with my buddy Neil Rule. My biggest fear yesterday was everybody just overlooking Tampa and kind of forgetting that Tampa's a pretty good football team. And did the Lions take the gun out of the holster and shoot themselves in the foot multiple times? Absolutely they did. Absolutely they did. Have at it. Rip, tear, shred, do what you need to do. I'm serious, okay? But try to keep it in perspective. They're 1-1. It sucks to lose that way. A lot of the wounds were self-inflicted wounds. But I'm not going to lose my head about it. I'm not going to call for a quarterback change. I'm not going to call relax. It's a long season. Nobody's going 17-0, man. It doesn't work that way. Not in the National Football League anymore. Every week something happens that makes you go, huh? The Raiders knocking off the Ravens at Baltimore. Like, come on. Looked like the Ravens were in total control of that game, and then boom, 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 the Raiders scored 3 times and ended up winning the game. I get it. It's a frustrating loss. I am not trying to minimize that in any way, shape, or form, okay? No way, no how am I trying to minimize that. It was a frustrating loss. Were there signs of yesteryear? A little bit, yeah. Guys, I don't believe it. There's too much talent on this team. This is a different franchise now. It is. Matt said Goff is getting $50 million a year and his new wife is an absolute smoke show. Not surprised he doesn't look focused. He wasn't good yesterday. And I don't know about you guys. I saw it very early on. Now, that first interception was simply put not his fault. I think we can all agree that a guy had his route cut off and, that should have been called, whatever. But he didn't look off. And you saw signs of old Goff. I mean, it really is simple with Jared Goff, okay? If you protect him, if you put him in positions of comfortability, he's been a surgeon. Give him his credit. We've seen it way too many times over the past year and a half, okay? With that being said, when he's pressured, while no quarterback likes pressure, there isn't one quarterback that says, yeah, bring it to me. Even Peyton Manning, who everybody and their brother, if you blitz Peyton Manning, you're making a mistake. Do you think he'd rather be able to sit back there and do what he does without worrying about that? All quarterbacks handle it differently. Jared Goff doesn't handle it well. The term seeing ghosts, it's real. It's real. You guys watch the same thing that I did. Truth McFly said, where is the run game? You know the crazy thing about it? They had 27 carries for 139 yards. That's about 5 yards a pop. That's a pretty good effort. To me, though, Truth, I think there's truth in what you said. Why didn't we see more? Jahmyr Gibbs was 13 of 84 for 6.5 a pop. David Montgomery, 11 for 35 for 3.2. Jamison, 1 for 2, and Goff, 2 for 5. Why didn't we see more? I don't know. Winnable game, frustrating beyond all belief in both the last 2 minutes of the half. In particular, I know everybody talks about the first half. I thought the play calling on both drives in the last 2 minutes of the game was astonishing. I didn't know what they were doing. There were no cracks. There were no cracks at the end zone. It was really, really weird. Bill said, yeah, overreacting, entitled morons. Other NFL teams are good in other news. Water is wet. Todd said the two things that concerned me were, one, we needed gadget plays to keep the offense on the field early in the game with a completely healthy roster. Two, Tampa only throwing to Godwin in the first half, and we couldn't shut it down. Worse yet, blitzing from that side. We out everything them except in one category, score. That's why it's frustrating. I mean, look at it. To Todd's point, like honestly, to Todd's point, passing first downs, Lions 16-9. Rushing first downs, Lions 7-3. First downs 26-14. Third down efficiency, 2 of 10 versus 7 of 17. Fourth downs, 3 of 5. Total plays, total yards, yards per play. I mean, what do you want to look at? And unfortunately, we beat him in the turnover category as well. But something that had been so good for the Lions in the past year and a half of this renaissance of this franchise was absolutely miserable yesterday. And that was red zone efficiency. Can't have it. Bill said this overreaction is just fallout from Goff recently getting paid. People sure love to pocket watch. ASB it being injured totally changed our 2-minute offense. Ted, what up, Legion? What's up, Teddy? Teddy was at the game. Goff is ranked 30 out of 33 the first 2 games as well. Hey, listen, I'm going to say it again. I'm not offering any excuses. You saw what you saw yesterday. And you know what? At the end of the day, I fully understand. I'm not going to convince anybody that this is a different franchise. You know it, though. Deep down inside, you know it. You know it. It's a different franchise with a different roster. I know it's not cool to say. I know I'm supposed to rant and rave like yesteryear. I can't do it because I don't believe it. A decade ago, 2 decades ago, ranting and raving and losing our mind, it was because the roster was shit. It's not panic time. Yes, Nick, you're right. It's not panic time. Not yet. Not by a long shot. Yes, I deserve that. I deserve that. I openly admit it. Not at all. It was frustrating. It was a woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't. And Lord knows we've seen that 100 times. But this is where I'm going to appeal to you and maybe your common sense, okay? This roster, this coaching staff, this front office, have they built up the credit line while you're in? Have they built up the credit line? If you say no, you're lying. Just stop it. They have. They won 2 playoff games in the span of a week last year. Most of us have only seen 1. A lot of you had never seen 1. It's a different franchise. I'm not going to back down from I still think they're the best team in this division. I still think they're the best team in the NFC. You know, I've said it all along. I'm not going as far as to saying win a Super Bowl. I'm not. I think that Kansas City is blessed and has so many things going in their favor, including some calls that just make you shake your head because it's Patrick Mahomes. But with that being said, you know what? I'm a Lions fan. I think about the Lions. And it pissed me off yesterday. And for a few minutes there, I had a lot of the old feelings that I had. But I never, ever thought to myself, here we go again. And I don't believe that now. I don't think this is 1992 all over again. I think this is a situation where you're going to lose games in the National Football League, especially to good teams. And sometimes you lose to bad teams. Are you new to this NFL thing? So be frustrated. Ask questions. Rant. Rave. But if you expect me to take a step out of the boat, it's not going to happen. We are so far away from that right now. So far away from that. Oh, Nick, I went to blow leaves at the end of the third quarter to calm myself. Now, see, when you find yourself doing that, see, but even that, can we even say even that? That's different. How many times, Nick, did guys like you and I cider mill moments? It was just time to go do something else. I'm going to the cider mill. I'm going to find some peace and serenity at the mill. I'm going to pound some cider. I'm probably going to eat 2 or 3 donuts because the Lions are down by 24 in the third quarter. We don't have too many of those moments anymore. And it's been a long time since we had one. The Ravens game last year. Oh, was that a cider mill moment? I thought Gibbs was going to the house there at the end, so close. That's what's frustrating. It really was. It was a woulda, coulda, shoulda. They didn't. And I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to say, here we go again. I'm not doing that. It's not time for it yet. When will be the time? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Let's play a game of pretend. Again, if they lose out in the desert and they lose to the Seahawks and they limp into the bye at 1-3, we might have to have a conversation. And even then, the season's not done. I don't know. Love to get your thoughts on this. I'm not there, guys. Frustrating is one thing. A loss is one thing. Getting to that point where, oh, here we go again. Oh, and those three letters that I'm just not even going to say. I'm not going to say those letters. And you know what letters I'm talking about. I'm not going to bring them up because it's not, and it hasn't been for quite some time. Take care of Green Bay, Minnesota. And hold on a second. Where is that? Take care of Green Bay, Minnesota, and get to Thanksgiving north of 500. Our buddy JJ from Saginaw Heritage. Great message. Everyone calm down. The line from Roadhouse. It's time to be nice until it's time to not to be nice. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be pissed. It's okay to say, Dan, bro. It's okay to say, Ben. Dude, what were you calling there at the end of the game? It's okay to say Jared Goff, kind of shades of that Goff at the end of the Rams tenure and early in the Lion tenure. You know why it's okay to say all of that? Because all of that is true. That's what we saw yesterday, right? But I'm not going to make some bombastic statement about, we all jumped the gun. I can't believe they did it to us again. There's too much talent on this team, man. There just is. Nick said, could be feeling like a Cowboy fan. I don't know how they do it to people every year. I'm not being funny. It is one of life's greatest. Jerry Jones is your general manager, man. And I can't tell you how many times a Cowboy fan has been mad at me for that. It's like, dude, what do you think's going to happen? Come on. This is a guy that openly, nope, nobody else doing that. I'm doing it. What do you expect to happen? Shauner is talking folks off the ledge today. I hope that people aren't on the ledge, right? Maybe a little bit this morning. That's why I'm glad I'm doing it tonight. Because I think people probably, keen operative word, probably are feeling less than. I'll tell you what I like to see. Can I focus on some positives? Remember what we talked about a couple months ago? And it's the same Dylan Larkin conversation, okay? I like Hutch. I think Hutch is a really good player. I think teams would love to have Hutch on them. I feel like there's another level there for Hutch. I said so before the season. I said I want to see him make that jump from being a very good, at times dominant player to being a dominant player. And I get it. You don't have to do it every play, okay? Lawrence Taylor didn't do it every play. Barry Sanders didn't do it every play. But you know what? I think we're seeing that there was a ceiling there for Hutch. And if he continues what he's done through the first two games, we're going to use that G word. And let's just say it rhymes with date. Not good, great. If he keeps this up, that's the step that we're looking for. And there's nothing wrong with asking for more. I think sometimes people get so worked up, and it's fandom. I get it. I totally get it. We love our own, and we have the tendency of putting them on a pedestal that maybe they don't necessarily belong on. Right? And I thought a lot of people were throwing around the G word about Hutchinson. I thought he had great moments. I thought when he took the Bears game over, in particular last year, it was like, damn. But I think to be great, you have to see great a lot of the time. I think he's taken a step this year, man. I really, truly do. I think he's taken a step this year. Hey, can we talk about Wealth Advantage Group for a moment? If you are ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville and owned by those two guys right there, the Hanson brothers, with over 20 years of industry experience. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, getting ready to sell your company, or already in retirement, they can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life, and they have clients in over 20 states. I personally recommend these guys. They're great guys. They're great at their job. Give them a call, because the investment world is a complex one. And if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it might be time to work with the experts. Reach out to the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574 or view their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Lions fall yesterday 20-16. And I don't know when the Lions lost, was that important to you? Like, to a lot of the people, if you're watching this right now, and I promise you, I'm not going to chastise you and I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell you how to feel after what was a crappy loss, okay? But would you have felt this way if the loss happened in the desert? Would you have felt this way if the first loss happened against Seattle? Like, oh, you had to lose the game before the bye. And, help me understand it. Because really what I've seen today, I've seen a lot of people being pissed off, man. A lot of it today. Sean, any issue with that late flag that ultimately decided the KC-Cincy game? It was questionable. That's why I'm saying it again, Bill. Like, honest, I think Kansas City's going to do what nobody else has done. I really do. I think they're winning 3 Super Bowls in a row. There are just so many things. Patrick Mahomes makes things happen. I think there is, whether people want to admit it or not, there's a benefit of the doubt feeling. And I'm not one into conspiracy theories or anything like that, but I think when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, when you have a team like the Kansas City Chiefs that have had such prolonged success now, I think more often than not, if a play's close, they get a benefit of a doubt that maybe another team won't. And I think that's perhaps a human nature thing. So I think there are just a lot of things that are working in the Chiefs' favor that make me say that they're going to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. And it starts with Patrick Mahomes. Like him or not, the guy's phenomenal. He is. And he's another guy. Sometimes he doesn't have his A game, and he finds a way to make a play when he has to. And the team always seems to find a way when they have to. And that's, like I said, I mean, some people sit back and say, I can't stand that. Oh, they're so lucky. They're blessed, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm more of the tip of the cap guy. Like, we're watching something that doesn't happen a lot in the National Football League, right? A team have that kind of success. And like I said, we've never seen a team win 3 Super Bowls in a row. And you think of all the dynasties or quote unquote dynasties out there by NFL standards. How's that? Whether it be the Steelers of the 70s and into the 80s, whether it be the Niners in the late 80s, whether it be the Cowboys of the early 90s, whether it be all those Pats teams, right? 3 in a row's never happened. I really think Kansas City's got a chance to do that. Nick said, I am just mad at a home loss against Tampa when I know Detroit is a better team. That's the frustrating part. You are absolutely fair. There's nothing wrong with saying that. As a matter of fact, Nick, I think you said it better than I can. While I'm not dismissing Tampa, I think Tampa's a pretty good team. I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield guy. I think in the long term, I think Baker's a guy that's going to do something dumb, and he's eventually going to hurt your team. So in fairness, I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield guy. Just one man's opinion. I think Tampa's a pretty good team. But if I may use your quote again, I know Detroit is a better team. That's the frustrating part. Yeah. And especially when you go down the numbers. I mean, honestly, and this is reason number 3,222, coming from a recovering stataholic, The numbers don't say everything. They just don't. I used to be a guy, heck, you guys probably heard me on the radio. I used to be a guy that would just throw numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers. It's not like the numbers are wrong, but sometimes the numbers don't say everything. And yesterday's one of those examples. I mean, if I showed you those numbers from yesterday, wouldn't you think, oh, the Lions probably won that game by 10? It probably was ugly, 23-13, 24-14, some crap like that. But that's what those numbers look like. And no, it was Tampa. It was Tampa that found a way to win that game. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to go crazy over it. We'll know when, right? God forbid they go out to the desert next week and lose, though. Oh, my gosh, I don't even want to think about it. People be losing their collective minds about that. Numbers tell a story, not the story. Absolutely right, Chris. No doubt about it. They tell a story. A lot of times it's a very accurate story, but it doesn't tell the story. You know, and I've learned that, trust me, over my career. Certainly not from fandom. Hell no. Fan Sean, he gets loony. I was loony yesterday. Trust me. My buddy Ted, who was in the chat a few minutes ago, I'm in a group text with him and another one of our, guys I've known my entire lifetime. I'm not joking. I look back after 10 minutes after the game, we were saying batshit crazy stuff to each other. We were. Because in the moment, that's where you're at. You're speaking out of emotion. But I can say 24 hours later, like what people are saying about Jared Goff, how could I argue that right now? How can I argue that? No, I'm not going to say that, Jared Goff's going back to the Jared Goff of a couple of years ago. If you're saying something like that, I'm not with you. But if you're saying Jared Goff looked distracted yesterday, Jared Goff looked off, what am I going to do, lie to you? No, he didn't. Hater. Todd, if I had a dime for the amount of times I was called a hater in my life, you and I were just talking about this before the show started. Okay, seriously. We have a guy. I'm not going to mention any names. And maybe he's watching. I don't know. We have a guy that was really, really mad at us and accused me of sounding like another person in the Detroit media. Because are you ready? Are you ready for this? I said I can't believe that a program as good as Michigan doesn't have a quarterback. If you're a Michigan fan, you're watching right now, you would say that before I would say it. Now, Todd, maybe it's the time-honored adage of I can tell you that my brother's a bonehead, but if you call my brother a bonehead, you might have your teeth in the back of your mouth. Maybe that's the type of thing. Maybe as a Michigan fan, you could say that. But if somebody else says that, you get agitated. You get agitated at it. But honestly, my response to this person, and I hope you're watching or you watch it later, my response to that person would be, okay, if that's not the case, which one of those quarterbacks give you confidence? Go. Based on what we've seen this year, what on earth could you possibly get mad at me for? What? Sean went solo like Justin Timberlake. No, Shep hit me up. In fairness, Shep hit me up today, and he said, I'll try to jump on later, but he was at an event. Shep does a lot of events, obviously with the jobs that he has and everything. And he said, I'll try to get on late. I know he's going to be on with us Thursday. Programming note, Todd, you already know this. Programming note. Usually we do Thursday morning. We're going to do Thursday night. Cool. 8:00. Let Orgy cook. Wait. Said nobody? Right? Todd, it's funny you bring that up because there isn't a day that goes by that I don't remind my kids that sometime during the day, take a second to think Justin Timberlake. for bringing sexy back. For some point in the day, just take a second. And there's my buddy Ted. I was just talking about Ted. Look, we're all going crazy. What's that play call? What are you hoping to accomplish there? Why aren't they using Laporta more? I'm not going to sit there and say that I've been studying tape. I love that. One of my favorite things. I've been studying tape. Sure you have, Jaws. Yeah, you're sitting there just like Ron Jaworski watching tape. I don't know what's happening differently downfield to take a guy like Laporta out of the game. But to Ted's point, I think the devil is in the details, right? The devil's in the details. Here you have on this team, like seriously, in my mind, one of the three best tight ends in the game. I would put him at number 3. I really, truly would. I would put him at number 3. And he's got 8 targets so far. Only 3 targets yesterday. So if you do the math, 5 targets against the Rams and only 3 targets yesterday. He's got 58 yards on the season. Why not? Why? Help me. Why? I don't know. Nick said, Sean, how do you not say to a quarterback in the portal and say, do you want to play for the national champions? We were talking about that the other night. Like, Nick, that was the exact quote. Honest to goodness, that exact quote. And somebody got mad at me for saying that. Hey, man, do you want to go play for the national champions? Not just that. You have all the networks fighting over them to put them on national TV almost on a weekly basis. You want to transfer from UCF? You want to transfer from here? You want to transfer from there? How would you like to play for one of the most iconic programs in the entire nation? Like them or not, how would you like that chance? Because you're going to be the best quarterback in the bunch. And Nick, somebody got mad at me for saying that. Todd, what was the quote? I'm going to check out because you sound too much like Valenti. Was that it? So are you happy with those guys? You feel good? You feel good about them? You feel good about those 2 quarterbacks? You didn't watch a game. Just admit it. You didn't watch a game. That's okay. Maybe you were working. You didn't watch a game. I don't know how a living, breathing organism could watch Michigan football in the last 3 weeks and feel good about either one of those guys. Most of the Michigan fans that I know are saying the exact same thing that I'm saying. What on earth could you possibly be upset about? Nick said, can't throw to Laporta when everyone is bitching about why they don't throw to J-Mo more. So to that point, Nick, I'm going to say the same thing that I've said all along. I just want Jameson Williams to be a viable threat. He's exceeded expectations so far. I want Jameson Williams to be a viable threat. I don't necessarily need a stud in an offense like this. I want to see them go to J-Mo. I want to see them go to Laporta. I want to see them go to Gibbs out of the backfield. Obviously, I want to see them go to St. Brown. And it sounds like, thank the good Lord, it's not too serious. But yeah. What? Yes, that's what I want. So I think if anything isn't, that's the have it your way offense. Let's go all over the place, right? That's what it should be. I don't know. More your thoughts. Where are you at with this team? I can't imagine anybody's bailing out, but my gosh, there's some emotion today. Let me tell you about our friends at Legacy. Did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? As a matter of fact, I talked to Dave Peabody, great guy. We talked some college football today. And at the end of the day, he's a big Michigan fan, if you didn't know that. Shout out to Dave. You know what Dave told me? I can't believe we have those 2 terrible quarterbacks. So you want an honest guy, don't you? That's Dave Peabody and everybody at Legacy. Our friends at Legacy are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents and provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you, and yes, help save you some money. Doesn't everybody want to do a little bit more of that today? Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're probably paying too much and you could be underinsured. So what are you waiting for? Give Legacy Partners a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, or your business insurance needs. Give them a call. 586-209-4106. That's 586-209-4106, or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quote. I know that Monday Night Football is underway. We are going to check out in just a moment. Want to let you know what's going on in baseball. The Twins have a 3-1 lead over the Guardians. The Royals have a 4-0 lead over the Tigers. The Twins' magic number could drop to 8 today. It was a long shot anyway. It was. But tonight could be a double dagger. There's no doubt about that. Todd said, if you're regularly trying to target JMO, you've got the wrong quarterback. I don't want that. That's not the way this. That's why you go get other pieces. That's why you get dangerous pieces. So if they put a focus on that, you got single coverage with that guy, or that guy can run amok 10 yards down the field. Isn't that what you want? I want that versatility. I don't give two craps about having that guy that has 120 receptions and 1,700 yards. Seriously, love a guy like Calvin Johnson. But you know what? I like this offense better because there are 4 or 5 guys that can make you pay. If you say we are absolutely going to do everything to shut this guy down, great, because that guy can slit your throat. That guy can break your back and make you humble. Shout out to the Sheik. That guy could pull Damien out of the bag and fire Damien on you in the corner. Shout out to Jake the Snake. Ted, you can use JMO with his speed as a decoy and go underneath to Laporta using JMO almost like a run game. When run game is working, the pass game opens up. Absolutely. And I know, you know what, Teddy, you know what people said about that before JMO showed like what he can do offensively? We didn't take a guy in the first round to be a decoy. He's not a decoy. He's helping the rest of the team. And now that the productivity's there, and now that he's shown more often than the brief occasion that he's a guy that can make a big play when you put the ball in his hands, that's not what he is. That's what you want, right? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, man. But the overall sentiment remains. Why they don't find a way to get it more to Laporta? Does that change this week? It might. I think it's a good problem to have, right? Really, I do. Honest to goodness. I think it's a damn good problem to have. You know what? There might be a week that, let's face it, it's not St. Brown's week. It's not Montgomery's week. It's not Gibbs' week. Okay, cool. So you go to that guy, and you go to that guy, or you go to Khalif Raymond. But I think a guy like Sam Laporta helps your offense out in so many different ways. You get him across the middle, open up some space, do what you need to do in that regard. It just doesn't make sense to me. All right, Todd, let's talk about Lindsay Broadwell. When it is time to sell your house, whether you're buying, selling, or both, you need to contact the right agent. Who do I recommend? There she is, Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business, and when it's time to move, our friend Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyer, seller, even first-time buyer, doesn't matter. Make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She'll help you with everything from start to close. License Realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search day at BroadwellHomes.com. Can I pat myself on the back? And I don't want to speak in totality because out of one side of my mouth, I'm telling you not to make overreactions from the first couple weeks and the Lions, in particular, what happened yesterday. And certainly, I don't want to be a hypocrite and now say that the story is written in regards to this particular guy. But if you remember, we had lots of conversation before the season started about the hype train behind the Bears. And I felt the Bears would be better. I felt the Bears made some nice moves. But one of the things that would hurt the Bears is a rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks, 9 times out of 10, struggle in this league. That's just the way it is. And if you want to be one of those guys and you want to talk exceptions to the rule, I will remind you what I just said. 9 times out of 10, probably higher than that, but for the sake of an argument, let's say 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, a rookie quarterback is going to come into this league and struggle. It's a reality. It is an undeniable reality that I have seen for, honest to goodness. I was talking to Teddy, our mutual friend today, Joe. Like, I remember games now for about 47 years, really. My memory goes back to games like that. That is an undeniable reality. For every Dan Marino, for every C.J. Stroud, there are at least 10 guys that struggle mightily as a rookie. Peyton Manning high. Make a ton of mistakes. Do dumb rookie things because, well, as crazy as it sounds, that's what rookies do. And so I'm not going to sit here today and say this is Caleb Williams' lot for the rest of the season. I'm not. Although I feel pretty good about that. I said it before the season, and I'll stick to it. I'm sure he'll go like this over the course of the season. I'm not going to say he's a failure. It's not going to work. Don't. You know what I'm going to say? The same thing that I said a month ago when they got all that hype and people were about the Bears because of Hard Knocks. Rookie quarterbacks struggle in this league. Have you watched this guy? Did you stay up last night and watch this? In the first game against Tennessee, he was 14 of 29 for 93 yards. 14 of 29 for 93 yards. In the National Football League, a league that is set up for you to fire the ball around, and don't forget about all the weapons Caleb's got, right? Last night, he was 23 of 37 for a $174 and 2 interceptions. They haven't thrown a touchdown yet. He's got 267 yards in 2 games. Full stop. Pump the brakes on talking up rookies, man. I'm sorry. I maybe I'm old school. I'm Bill Parcells, okay? Rookies do dumb things. So to the people out there worried about Caleb Williams, I'll tell you what. I would be more terrified if Justin Fields was still there. Because at least Justin Fields, I mean, especially against the Lions, Justin Fields could run all over you. And we saw that way too many times. Just a hard watch. And again, I'm not even blaming him. I'm not making the blanket statement that Caleb Williams isn't going to work. Gordy, Chicago's where quarterbacks go to die. Look at the list over the last 30 years. I'm not even saying that he's going to be a failure. But for all the hype about the Bears, and Gordy, if I'm not mistaken, you're a Bears fan, and you even said there was too much hype. That's why. If you have to rely on a rookie quarterback, guys, I know I told this story before, and it was in conjunction with this very, very sentiment, okay? I will never forget being in the Lions locker room when they announced that they were benching Scott Mitchell, and you knew it was the end of the Scott Mitchell era. And they were handing the reins over to this kid out of Eastern Michigan by the name of Charlie Batch. It was like they let all the air out of the balloon. Every veteran in that room just kind of went, ugh. Because you know what you're doing at that time? You're kissing your season goodbye. No, it was a different era back then. Make no mistake about it. It was a different era back then. But veterans know. Rookies are going to do dumb things. Period. All right, Todd, one more read and then we got to get out of here. I want to go watch football. Is that okay with you guys? I want to go watch football. All About Catering LLC is a full-service caterer, graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for, from 25 to 4,000 people. All About Catering can and will take care of you. Customer service and satisfaction is their number one goal. They've taken care of me and my family, done a couple events. They can take care of you as well. So don't sweat your next big event. Just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today. Tell them that we sent you. Check out their menus, all their 5-star reviews. Give them a call, 586-731-1398 to get your event started. Teddy, it's almost time for Loser Fest. It's almost time for, is that who you're talking about? Lindsay? Is that who, Tommy Doyle and Lindsay? Absolutely. Who can forget? Todd, want to thank you. Thanks for the kind words, Nick. Want to thank all you guys as well. Shep and I will be back again. Shep just couldn't be here tonight. He had an event going on. So Shep and I will be back on Thursday night. We have a show going at 8:00. Todd, the rest of the week, Wednesday, we have What the Puck. Keith Robertson, the new coach at Howell, will be joining us for the Proven Path. Friday, I know Blake and Mike will be along. They've got the gambling show. What do they call it? Off the board? Off the board? Yeah, so Off the Board. And then Saturday night, of course, we'll be here talking about what transpired in the college football world. Until then, thanks for joining us. Make sure you, like it and follow it and YouTube it or whatever all that crap is. Todd's laughing at me. All right, we got to get out of here. We'll see you guys. Peace.
Shep and Sean, featuring Matt Shepard and Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Still Alive by Anti-Ghost. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.